Don't forget to like and sub the video, buddy. Hello everyone, my name is Poncho. I'm a content creator on YouTube and a Master Tier Snorlax and Wait, did you guys hear something? Just joking. He's chilling in the bush. It's his natural habitat. Yeah, I'm Poncho, Master Tier Snorlax, 1Trick, and Pokemon Unite, 1800 Master Tier, don't at me. And a lot of people in the chat at my stream, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday Central Time, asked me if I could do a counters to Snorlax tier list. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go through all of the Pokemon in Pokemon Unite. I would like to go through every Pokemon in Pokemon Unite, and I would like to explain whether or not they counter Snorlax in my professional opinion, and whether or not you can do anything as Snorlax to be able to stop. So the main thing that I want to say, first and foremost, is that I guess there's two different ways that someone can counter Snorlax, right? So imagine there's an imaginary okay, never mind, hold on. So you guys are like, Poncho, we came to YouTube for content. We're not here to imagine imaginary lines. All right, geez, just a second. All right, so here's a line down the middle. I'm gonna put ones that counter him in terms of, geez, what am I? This is hard. Respect to Spreggles, he does this a lot. You know, as much as I actively and openly despise Spreggles and everything he does and all the things he says and all the trash he talks about Snorlax and how he doesn't even seem to know that his glorious beard is like an impressive thing. You know, he seems to take it for granted. I feel like if I just borrowed a little bit of his beard for the rest of my life, you know, he wouldn't even notice and my life would be changed permanently forever and it would help me in every way. But despite all that, I forgot what I was talking about. What am I doing? Oh. Okay, so here we have the two. These SAB, this is the best counters for Snorlax up here. These are the worst counters for Snorlax here. That part is still the same, but I'm gonna have two separate categories between the categories, I hope. And they aren't gonna be ranked between each other, but what I wanna make sure you understand is that there's two ways you can counter Snorlax, right? One, your buttons make his buttons less effective, right? And two is that you kill him, right? Your burst has to be worse than Fred Durst, right? So if you can straight up walk up and kill Snorlax in a 1v1 scenario where you're the same level as him, I'm going to count that as worse than Fred Durst category. If you can counter him because your abilities counter his abilities, I'm going to put that over here in the technical category. But these will still be the same. All right, so let's get right into it. So Serena, that's a good one to start with because Serena is actually a moderate. I haven't actually tangled with her much since the buff, right? I'm pretty sure she's probably B tier. And the reason that I say that she's B tier, actually, you know what? Oh, geez, what the hell did I just do? Yeah, so this, are you joking? Yeah, so Serena, I'm going to put her over in the burst worse than Fred Durst category. Not exactly. You have to understand she's B tier because it takes like 20 minutes for a Serena and a Snorlax to fight to the death. And there is a way that if she messes up her buttons or she's just screwing around hitting buttons randomly, you can actually defeat her. This was before the buff, so this might not be true anymore. But if you tangle with her correctly and you have flail, I'm going to put her in B tier in the burst worse than Fred Durst category because what she can do is make you waste all of your time trying to kill her. And if you mess up your buttons, she can kill you. And all of this information is based before the buffs even, so it's probably even worse now, huh, buddy? Yeah, it's way worse. All right, let's go ahead. Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is not very dangerous to a Snorlax player in any way, shape, or form. The thing that you have to worry about is she'll put you to sleep and then someone else will come along and kill you. But other than that, none of her abilities are very powerful. And if she tries to stand there and bang it out, it'll take a while, right? So I'm going to put it in D tier because it'll take a while, but you will destroy that little bunny. Okay, if you're a Snorlax with flail, you can 1v1 a lot of Zorora. Okay, so this is a good example of like a Zorora would definitely be F tier, and it doesn't matter which side he's in because he doesn't have any abilities that can stop Snorlax from using his abilities, and he can't burst him down. I can't think of a single person that Zorora can walk up and burst down if they're the same level, but I don't see Zorora played that much, so to be fair, I'm kind of speaking out of ignorance here. There might be really good Zorora players, but hey, in your guys' defense, I think he needs a buff, and I think you guys would probably agree with me, you know, if you weren't so mad at me about the comments earlier. Let's take another look. Venusaur. This is actually a different situation, right? Because, hold on. Whatever that build is that these young buffaloes are running, I think they probably got it from Phil Yumu's, right? It becomes very unkillable. And unkillable in terms of like healing and regeneration is a very bad thing for Snorlax because Snorlax needs to walk up and slap you 3 times and you go down. Otherwise, he's not going to do very well trying to kill you. Venusaur is actually probably, unless, okay, I'm going to put him in S. No, I'm going to put him in A tier. And actually, you know, I don't even know. He's right on the line. He's right on the line because he can out-sustain weaken you with his abilities. And then also, if you mess around, he'll tune you up. So he's a very good counter, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and try to talk about the next one. So Sudowoodo, I haven't actually seen played that much, right? He seems to be very not damage based, right? So if he was going to counter Snorlax, it will be over here because he stops Snorlax from walking around and doing whatever he wants, which is always annoying and is a death sentence if you're a Snorlax player. But at the same time, he doesn't do a lot of damage, and I feel like they didn't give him very good crowd control because he doesn't do a lot of damage, right? I wouldn't put him lower than Wigglytuff because he can actually, you know, if he was down here, I will give this to him, right? So he's not like Wigglytuff because he can actually tune you up early depending on if you mess around or not, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and put him down. I feel really comfortable with that. Yeah, this is looking right. This is exactly how I feel so far. So let's keep going. Pikachu's an interesting one because normal ADC type or damage dealing carries, right, for the layman, are gonna have trouble unless they can kite you out. Pikachu is one of the guys that can stand there and doesn't have to kite you out, and he might just tune you up if he's the same level as you or a little lower than you. Probably, maybe. I don't know. It's not a sure thing. For example, so let's talk about the moves, right? So he has a net, right? The fight is set up for Snorlax to win. A Pikachu has to be a really good Pikachu to win, and the Snorlax does not have to be a good Snorlax to win, right? But it is not because of the moves. It is because of the burst. Pikachu is more like an assassin or a mage than a ranged damage carry like a Cinderace, right? Anybody who can do burst worse than Fred Durst has a good chance of defeating Snorlax. Crap, I should have said that in the beginning. Poncho, put this in the beginning of the video. So whenever a person can burst Snorlax down from half HP to 0 HP, they are at a really good spot to be able to defeat him. If you can burst him down to half HP and then you kind of just like pop, you know, you try to throw a jab or something weak, it's not going to work. He's going to have that belt ticking. He might have rest. He's going to put a shield up. He might ultimate, you know, and then his flail after level 12 is going to heal him every time he slaps you too. So you got to be very careful with that. But Pikachu, the burst is worse than Fred Durst. Talonflame, the bird. Oh, I hate the bird. I will say this though. Okay, so in terms of on this side, right, this is going to be difficult because the bird, I can show you guys clips. So every single move in your arsenal counters Talonflame because its ultimate can be stopped by your shield. This Talonflame's ult can be stopped cold by Snorlax's level 3 rest, bro. I'm not even joking. He can't go through you. People don't know that. So in terms of a technical counter, this is going to be very low, but I will give him the honor of being on the worse than Fred Durst because dude, he can 0 to 100 you real quick, and it's not even going to be close if you mess around. You have to run when you see this thing coming. You have to run and wait until he wastes an ability. So in that sense, yeah, he's definitely going to be in the worse than Fred Durst. You know what? I'm going to put him up here with Pikachu because I got mad respect for the bird, even all the crap I talk. Espeon, I'm not exactly sure what is going on. They need to give it a really huge buff. I'm going to put it way down here because if it was in a category, it would be the burst category, right? But it doesn't do burst. It does that like vacuum cleaners. The rhythm of that thing's attack is exactly the same as the focus band. It's like it's not doing damage at a certain point. I can explain every single fight I've ever had with an Espeon, dude. Check it out. So an Espeon's here, Snorlax is here, right? Snorlax chases Espeon all the way home. Snorlax runs away. Espeon tries to go, Snorlax chases him all the way home. Espeon tries to go, and then he dies because Snorlax beats the crap out. Because Espeon's bad, right? Moving right along, Gardevoir. This is a skill matchup. So that's very difficult to talk about in terms of countering because the thing is, if Gardevoir misses one ability, then Snorlax is going to run him down like this, dude. It's not even going to be close. But if Gardevoir hits all of their abilities and just keeps on slowly backing away while Snorlax is sweating trying to keep up, then it's going to give you a really difficult time. And also, it has both. It has the ability to stop you with some of its buttons, and it can burst you worse than Fred Durst. This is going into S tier. I'm going to put this lower. Hold on. What is that? Image number 37. Crustle. Crustle's very annoying, right? But if you're a Snorlax player, life is annoying, and you live and breathe to be annoyed. So I've never once worried about a Crustle as a Snorlax, right? They can stop you from doing what you want to do, but unless the big bad guys show up, you know, he's definitely not going to burst you worse than Fred Durst, and his buttons don't really technically counter you because your shield cancels out his little stun, and your rest can cancel out his little stun, right? So I'm going to put him down here. He's a little better than Zorora. He's like like a Wigglytuff. He's exactly like Wigglytuff. Yeah, same bracket, same bracket. You can't really stop him, but you can't really end him. You know what I mean? Ninetales, interesting. A control mage like Ninetales can stop Snorlax cold in his tracks with Flail, because Flail, you need to be able to keep moving and autoing or you're gonna die, right? So with the abilities in terms of cool hard counters right here, see, this is almost like Venusaur or Serena. You know, jeez, man, hold on. Let me adjust this. I'm gonna adjust this because Pikachu and this guy are definitely up high above this. So I want to go ahead and put this like this, right? I'm gonna put it way over here because its abilities can stop you from being effective with your abilities, but it's not exactly, well, there has been a buff to it, but it doesn't really burst me down yet. You know, I haven't noticed any Ninetales suddenly coming out to clap me after the buff. So I could be wrong with this one. Forgive me if I'm wrong, Ninetales mains, but in my opinion, I don't think we're in a lot of trouble if we see one. Mamoswine, God tier. He's disgusting, dude. I know I said I was only going to talk about Flail and Block, but here's the thing. Like, even if you counted everything you could do as a Snorlax player, right? If you take Heavy Slam, then you can't kill him, right? And if you take Flail, then you can't move. So he's very difficult to deal with. He'll just, if he can't, he'll see if he can kill you, and if he can't kill you, he'll just push you down until the good tough guys show up. So in the technical sense, he's definitely going to be A tier. He's almost as dangerous as this Mo right here. Mr. Mime, I haven't actually seen a lot of this played. In terms of being annoying, he's like a Mamoswine but worse, right? He can control you on the technical level where he puts up walls, but I have a wall too, you know what I mean? It's not exactly a deal breaker if I see a Mr. Mime, and I feel like they don't scale well. I feel like a Mr. Mime early might do some damage and you're like, whoa, that was weird, but after that, you know, you just start to dodge around him, right? Catch him slipping. I don't know if he's that impressive. He's lower than this Crustle. He's lower than Crustle for sure. Yeah, Crustle would tune up Mr. Mime. Yeah. Okay, so Machamp. God help any of you that Google Machamp pings, by the way. Machamp is a great counter to Snorlax because of you can guess it, his burst is worse than Fred Durst, right? But in terms of mobility and crowd control, they tried to give Machamp a little bit of crowd control, and they nerfed his damage to try to balance it out. So it's almost like he's more like this, right? He's almost like, and I know people are thinking that's insane that I'm saying this, but literally Ninetales, at least Ninetales can kite you out. You know what I mean? This guy can't kite you out. So if he has his ultimate, yeah, if he has his ultimate and he's just ready and he's going to empty the clip on you, for sure. Fred Durst levels, right? He'd be right up here. But any other situation, dude, he starts to look more like this. Slowbro, I think it's a skill matchup. Well, actually, I don't even know. I think there's just a skill cap like this, right? So if you're this good at Slowbro, right? If you're this good, then you're like, Snorlax is magic. I don't understand how he defeats me every game. But if you get like one little bit better, all of a sudden Snorlax is a joke, right? You just ult on. Well, what you do is I come in there trying to beat you up. You don't fall for it, and you use your Psybeam or whatever the hell on the little carry or whoever, right? And then all of a sudden it turns out that it's just a Snorlax trying to duke it out, and his friends show up. So I guess he's never gonna Fred Durst me down, right? But in the technical sense, he's up there with he's better than Crustle. He's like with these guys. Isn't it crazy that I'm comparing Machamp to a Slowbro in that sense? I'm gonna put him on this side. That is a little too crazy, even for me, even for your old pal Poncho. Okay, Lucario. So Lucario's funny, dude. I've seen Lucario's tune me up early, dude. I've seen it. The problem is I have never seen a Lucario player play like a normal human being, bro. Let me tell you what Lucario does. I'll do it right here. Ready? He runs past you, and he doesn't care about his teammate. He doesn't care about you. He just wants to get a stack. So he just runs and gets a stack, and what you do as a Snorlax player is you just follow him politely, right? He scores, you stand on this side of him, right? And then he tries to run away, and you walk in front of him. Because what he wants to do is go, right, and push you back and show you, haha, I watched a YouTube video. But unfortunately, if you just stand slightly in front of him, he's an inting griefer, and then they're useless the rest of the game, and they usually AFK because they can't understand that plan didn't work in this game. Yeah, so well, any Lucario players who are really good, let me know if you beat up Snorlaxes regularly, because as far as I know, dude, he's like Wigglytuff level, bro. He's Wigglytuff. Yeah. Greninja is a funny one. He's not gonna ever really Fred burst you down. I know that Greninja mains are like freaking out if I say that, but I feel like his ultimate, if he uses his ultimate to kill Snorlax, he's not going to be very good for the team fight. So I feel like really good Greninja players don't put me in that position very often. So I'm going to say he can do it, but he won't, right? And then I'm going to say that on a technical level, Greninja counters Snorlax every single stage of the game. If you have Tackle as Snorlax and he has his dash that applies a fake dummy, and you press your buttons at the same time, he wins that automatically. It just doesn't matter. Even if you press it a millisecond early, he can still react to you tackling in time to dodge it. It's very annoying. At the mid game, when you have your shield, right? What he can do is immediately clone through it. And then what you're left with is you're pushing two of the fake Greninjas instead of the real Greninja. He just dashed right through you. These Greninja players that are studied in their art, they can really put the work on a Snorlax. But the problem is, after the gimmick show is over, if he's out of buttons, I'm gonna walk up and slap him like I would anybody else. So that's why I had to put him far on this side, but very high up, because he counters Snorlax every stage of the game. Very good. Very good counter. Very good counter. Gengar, with the buffs recently, I am more willing to put Gengar. Yeah, he's like Machamp, you know? If he's a god tier player of that Pokemon, then yeah, he can put those screws to you. He can kill you. He'll burst you down. The problem is that a lot of them don't, and that's why I'm more like, I'm trying to decide, like, if I saw a Machamp or I saw a Gengar, which one would I be more afraid of? And I can't really, so I guess that's exactly right. He should be there, unless, you know, I haven't seen a lot of him since the buff, you know? So he could be a lot more powerful now, and I don't really know how it's applicable, but as far as I know, I'm gonna put him a little bit below Pikachu, because, oh god, that Pikachu. Greedent is a disgusting Pokemon. He can counter anybody, right? He would be an S tier counter for anybody, because all he does is make you chase him, and then if you chase him, you can't execute him, right? He can't burst you down, but he's very capable of torturing you with the buttons. But so I'm actually kind of mad right now, and I'm actually thinking in my head, I want to put him down here because I want to say, I know how to deal with Greedent. You just don't let him steal last hits, and you don't chase him, and you ignore him until the end game, and then you try to kill him. But you know, in terms of actual counters, I gotta be honest with myself, you know, he's horrible. He might even be A tier. Yeah, he's A tier. I'll put him up there. He's worse than all of these guys for sure. Garchomp's interesting. You would think he's the 1v1 machine, right? He's an auto attack based damage dealer. He gets a passive where he gets a buff after he autos you a couple times. So in terms of what people probably think it would be over here, right? But unfortunately, Snorlax with Flail is built the exact same way as Garchomp, and honestly better. It's kind of crazy to say that out loud into a camera, but yeah, if you're the same level as Snorlax and you're a Garchomp, unless you're ready to blow ult and he doesn't have ult, he's gonna tune you up. So you can't burst him. In terms of abilities, I don't know. I think your block can even stop his dig. I'm gonna say he's better than Lucario. He's scarier than Lucario, but like, you know, not too bad. Eldegoss, very annoying, because right up until they get their ultimate, you can just punish them forever, right? But as soon as they get their ultimate, that little float away technical ability, right? It almost puts it like, would I be more afraid? No, Eldegoss to a Snorlax is like a Mr. Mime. It's just different. It doesn't matter. You just wait for them to do their trick, and then you walk up and slap them till they die, right? Pelipper, I haven't actually seen played ever before by any human beings, so I guess the Pelipper bots might be giving me a bad idea, but he seems pretty F tier. Charizard, right? Charizard is not, nah, man. Charizard can't burst him. Yeah, because his abilities like AoE, and they burn you slowly over time. Snorlax is actually built to deal with that very well. He's scarier than Lucario for sure, because he could ult you out of existence, right? And then you can't be autoing, and anything that stops you from being able to auto is going to be a death sentence really quickly. So that guy's going to be right there. I guess I'd have to put him there, you know? Chansey. I've never even seen or heard of this Pokemon. It can crowd control you, right? It can mess you up with heals. It can fix its teammates. So yeah, that's more like this. This is exactly right. This is looking really good. So Registeel, I haven't actually seen that much of this being played yet. And I know, according to everyone on the internet, he's very overtuned right now. But so this isn't like a solid opinion that I've formed. This is just in my opinion right now, without them having nerfed him to proper statistics and stuff. He's probably, I mean, he can burst you down with the best of them. He probably bursts better than Pikachu. So I have to respect that. Decidueye, I hate the bird. I've never once walked up to this bird and lost a fight. You know, if he was going to do something to beat you, you know, it would be burst you worse than Fred Durst, right? But he can't do that because he just can't. Doesn't matter. You know, it's very difficult for a Decidueye player to deal with a Snorlax, especially if you have Flail, because it's a little gap closer, right? The problem with taking Heavy Slam against the bird, you think that'd be perfect, right? Because you can leap to them, knock them up, your friends come. But the problem is it's going to have Flash, right? It's going to have its pushback, you know, it's going to have defenders protecting it, hopefully. So instead, what you actually do is you take a Flail, and then you can use X speed. And then basically you just pretend to respect Decidueye until you have X speed and Flail off cooldown. And then you just empty the clip, and then you just mow them down. Exactly like Sylveon. Exactly like all these guys, okay? Cinderace. In terms of countering Snorlax, he's a very powerful Pokemon, right? And I know this is going to sound weird, but he can't burst Snorlax down because he telegraphs his ultimate, right? So if you're talking a 1v1 straight up, you know, obviously he can kite him out. He can kite him out with the best of them. He's probably right up here, right? Is there any other real kiters? Pikachu's a kiter. So Cinderace is pretty powerful with the kite, right? He can't burst you down though. So as long as you have X speed, you know, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. Should be very easy victory for you. And they also get very cocky and emotional easily in my experience, which always helps because you're a Snorlax melee player, right? So you need people to be very confident that they can beat you and then them be wrong. Aegislash, not bad. It's a perfect mixture, bro. It's almost like, it's like the B tier. It's like lower, it's like baby Serena. It's just like all of these. Oops, sorry. Yeah, this is perfect. This is where Aegislash belongs because no, not over here though. He'd be on this side, right? So I'm gonna put this guy over here because that makes more sense. Yeah, then I'm gonna put Aegislash down here. He's like that. He's like one of these guys where it's like, yeah, he can make your life hell and he can also beat up on you pretty hard, but he can't do either one of those so exemplary that it's a problem, and I would call it a counter, okay? Dragonite. Dragonite, ever since they ended the season 2 reign of terror that he was on, he's actually pretty unimpressive. Like, he's like Machamp. Yeah, so Charizard, Machamp, Ninetales, these are all people that I would be respectful of until I saw them burn an ability. But if he was going to beat you up, it would be on the Fred Durstian levels of burst, right? So I guess, you know what? Yeah, dude, he's not even that good anymore. Neither is Garchomp, really. I think this makes more sense. This actually makes more sense to me. Yeah, this looks right. This is looking correct. And finally, is this all the Pokemon? Really? Did I miss one? I didn't miss a Pokemon, did I? Anyway, so Blastoise, yeah, even before the buffs, he could put the pain on Snorlax. Either way, you know, some of them are over here, right? They're like they're controlling your movement. They're telling you where you can and can't go. They're keeping you away from the Zapdos. And on some of them over here, it seems like they got some special attack specs or something, and they're just blasting you, and you just can't even like get near them to hit them back, and then you lose, right? So in terms of, he could counter either way. He might be God tier, actually. Yeah, all of these guys up here, S tier. Yeah, this looks perfect, actually. I'm very proud of this. This is very good. This is exactly right. This is exactly how I would place all of the counters to Snorlax. Guys, thank you so much for clicking on this, even for just a second. You guys are the greatest. I love you all. See me stream Pokemon Unite 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday. We discuss strategy on Tuesdays. We try to make plans on Thursdays. And then on Saturdays, sometimes I do a fun stream, so don't forget that. It'll be hilarious. Right? Love you guys. Peace.